Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay. I'm going to read through the full article here. There's a link in the description, and it is a very tragic situation, as the headline tells us. It involves a triple murder, as well as a suicide, a presumed suicide. So, four dead from the same family, and this happened after the suspect, the incredibly likely suspect that almost certainly killed three family members and then himself. He had made a series of phone calls to the local sheriff's office, making odd and vague inquiries. Are you at work today? How do I get a concealed carry permit? Things like this. Some vague, somewhat unnecessary calls were made to the sheriff's office prior to the murder of three family members and then the likely suicide. There's no picture within this article, which is a little odd. This is from lawandcrime.com. There's a link in the description. Law and Crime typically have some pictures of the suspects or the victims. In this case, seemingly they don't. I believe you can see... Can you see this here? Yes, I think you can. I believe this is the main suspect. I could have that wrong, and perhaps that's one of the victims there. So I don't know for sure, but that does seem to be the case. So I've not looked at these articles. Perhaps I should have chosen these ones, but I didn't. So let's have a look through this article here. The parents found dead with their children in an apparent murder-suicide on Monday made a series of cryptic communications with local deputies mere hours before the tragedy. So this alleged scumbag, or I'll just call him a scumbag, he's committed suicide seemingly, Arson Ewing-Meeks, 26 years of age, the suspected killer, called the local deputies and said, "You guys have people working here today?" That was around 12:11 p.m. on Monday. His girlfriend, Ashton Brown, I guess this is Ashton. His girlfriend, Ashton Brown, 26 years of age, stood by holding 8-month-old Brix Meeks-Ewing. I guess their baby boy. 4-year-old daughter, Bella Meeks-Ewing. Bella Meeks-Ewing. Is that Bella? About 2 hours later, at about 2:17 p.m., firefighters said they found the family shot to death at their home after a passerby reported seeing smoke from the residence. Deputies said first responders found the scumbag dead with a gun in hand. Authorities say they believe he fatally shot Ashton, his girlfriend, Brix, I believe, his 8-month-old son, and Bella, I believe, his 4-year-old daughter. Then set fire to the home before killing himself. What an evil, psychopathic scumbag, and we hope that he has a place in hell, that he'll stay for eternity. He killed his innocent girlfriend, his innocent 8-month-old boy, and his innocent 4-year-old daughter. I guess there she is, Bella. The county sheriff said that the family was vague about why they wanted to speak to a deputy during that Monday visit, so they actually went to the deputy's office. The scumbag, during the visit, reportedly asked about getting a concealed carry permit. The scumbag, sorry. The girlfriend called authorities minutes later on Monday at 12:35 p.m., asking to speak with a deputy, which she described as being a non-emergency call. A deputy called her back, and according to officials, the girlfriend said that she was calling for her boyfriend, the scumbag. The girlfriend gave the phone to the boyfriend, but the call only lasted 30 seconds. The authorities don't know if that was just a technical error, if the line dropped out, or if they purposefully ended the call. There was a second phone call which also ended in less than a minute. Then a third and a fourth call, which also lasted just a few minutes each. Apparently, the scumbag was saying that he felt that somebody was following him. So, signs of paranoia, apparently. At about 2 p.m., a witness claimed to see the scumbag and the girlfriend argue in front of the couple's home, but they went inside. Minutes later, another witness claimed to see smoke from the home. First responders said that they found the mother and her infant son in the kitchen, with the daughter in a bedroom doorway. The scumbag, boyfriend, gun in hand, was at the end of the hallway leading to the kitchen. And that's pretty much the full details. The article does tell us that there has been some fundraising efforts, including t-shirt sales from this company here. If you want to look into that, Bird & Co. Boutique in Mocksville, creating t-shirts to raise money for the family of Ashton Brown and her 2 children. There's no mention of a GoFundMe. If you guys do know of a GoFundMe, feel free to mention that, and I'll try to put a link in the description. But in essence, that is this hideous story here. Again, we don't have images within this article, but I very much do appreciate lawandcrime.com. They're a great publication. So seemingly this scumbag here, 26 years of age, killed his family, killed his girlfriend, 26 years of age, their 4-year-old daughter, Bella, and their 8-month-old boy, Bricks. What is going on? What is leading these people to commit such just incredibly heinous acts? Is it mental illness again? Is it mental illness? He and his girlfriend between them, but seemingly the girlfriend was calling at the boyfriend's request or demands, were calling the local sheriff's department multiple times, seemingly stating that he felt that he was being followed. Is that signs of mental illness? Is that signs of paranoia? Severe paranoia? I can only presume so. I can only presume that he had significant mental illness to do what he did. Seemingly, in a moment, he's 1 minute, he's outside of his home having an argument with his girlfriend. Arguments happen. Arguments are normal. We all have arguments with our loved ones. Having an argument, and then seemingly he snaps beyond any reasonable level. He snaps. He has access to a gun, his own gun. It might well be legal. Maybe he has several. I don't know. I'm not trying to make any gun control argument or such. I'm merely saying that he had access to a gun. And he used it. Like a fucking sick cunt. Killing his girlfriend and his 2 innocent children. I mean, how do you even do that? Like, I can't imagine. How could, just for a moment, indulge me, how could you possibly... I don't understand how a human could look at an 8-month-old child, or indeed a 4-year-old girl. But certainly, just as an example, an 8-month-old child, their own son, their own baby. It's a baby. It's a baby. And how could a human point a gun at that 8-month-old child? And, how could you pull the trigger knowing that you're just going to obliterate that child? You're going to erase their life. How could you do that? That's an extreme level of insanity to me, an extreme level of psychoticness. I don't know what I'm talking about, but an extreme level of evil. To be able to do that, to be able to consider it, to be able to have that as a thought that would flicker in your head for a moment is evil. But to actually go ahead and do it, that's just sheer insanity. I'm going to say thankfully he killed himself. Other people would disagree with that. Other people would have preferred for him to have gone through a trial and faced justice. That's not my view. My view is, and I do understand that view, I do respect that view, but it's not the view that I have. My view is that scum like that ought to be erased. I mean, I'll say this just popped into my head, and this is going to be a really nasty analogy. Apologies. But look, if you have a piece of literal shit, a piece of feces on your shoe, you wipe it off, don't you? If you have a stain of evil, you wipe it off. That's what we ought to do. We ought, society ought to wipe these things off. And if they decide to wipe themselves off, I say great. I say okay, yeah, good. That's the right thing. At least that happened. That's my view. And if you disagree, I'm more than happy for you to express that in your comments. I'll genuinely read through that attentively to try to learn from your point of view. You probably do have some good points to make, which I'll definitely take on board. And of course, other people read your comments too. So I do encourage that. I like having these conversations. But that's my view. It's a good thing that he committed suicide. But I'm going to mention something else. I'm going to continue with this rant of mine, and I kind of understand that perhaps no one's listening, but I'm going to continue anyway. What I'm thinking is self-control. I'm thinking about self-control. I'm thinking about all of these articles that I'm reading through, and I have only started reading through these articles, true crime, in the last 6 months or so. I don't really have an awareness of what was happening prior to that. So my viewpoint is skewed and biased, of course, and I'm only looking through a certain number of cases, and I'm not an expert, blah, 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 right? But I am seeing these incidences of people losing self-control to such an extent. I mean, and there are multiple different situations. There are killings like this, where a family member kills as many other family members as they can. There's incidences of people setting fire to their own homes. Multiple incidences of that. Not just in America, in Australia I can think of, in England. And there's been children's deaths. There's a video I made about a week ago of a road rage incident in which the driver of a fairly large car, an estate vehicle or such, SUV, literally ran over a woman. They had a road rage incident. She was a pedestrian, and there was some incident which happened which we weren't made aware of. And then we see video of this guy chase her. He drives into a garden, couple of gardens, and chases her. She's sprinting for her life as fast as she can. Of course, she can't outrun an SUV. She runs him over. He runs her over. And then, what does he do? He backs up, runs over her again. I think he, by memory, I made this video last week. Check it out. I think he attempts to run over her 3 or 4 times. Some of the people, witnesses call out for him to stop, for the driver to stop. But what can they do? They can't do too much. Well, not unless they had a gun, which presumably they didn't. I can't remember where this occurred. But what's my point? My point is, I think people are losing self-control. People are experiencing complete people are experiencing episodes of a complete lack of self-control. That's what's happening. Is that what's always happened? Am I being a little bit silly here? Am I going to be a complete jerk with what I'm about to say? My feeling is that these episodes of a complete loss of self-control are increasing. I saw it, I did this same rant last week again on another video in Australia, in Perth. There was a fair, an Easter show, like a little festival in the daytime. Nice, pleasant place to go. And a woman kicked over an 18-month-old... No. And she punched an 18-month-old baby out of the mother's arms. She punched the baby out of the mother's arms. And then she went to stomp on the child. I think the child was 18 months. Thankfully, she was stopped. She wasn't able to stomp on the child. But to me, this is, these are episodes of complete loss of self-control. And I guess I'm being silly in that this has always been the case. These severe acts of violence generally occur when there is a complete lack of self-control, and there's always been these acts of self-violence. Thereby, there's always been these moments, these episodes of lack of self-control. But my feeling, regardless of that inarguable point that I just referred to, my feeling is that these episodes are increasing. And my feeling also is that it's affecting more and more people. People that were able to manage some level of self-control no longer have that ability. We're perhaps closer to our breaking points than we ever have been before. I'll stick with that sentence. I'll repeat it. Perhaps we're closer to our breaking points than we have ever been before. So, those people that did have some level of self-control issues, they are now extremely prone to losing self-control or to having episodes of complete lack of self-control. That's my view. I don't trust people out there. I think a lot of people are close to becoming full-on savages. Suppose we could even take a look at what's happening in the Ukraine, in Russia. Well, from the Russians, I'm not going to go into that too deeply, but all of a sudden, the last couple of weeks, we're talking about we're reading about gang rapes of minors, of children. We're reading reports of murdering of husbands, and then the gang rape of the mothers and the children. We're just here, and for this to become completely normalized and ritualized. There's a lot of savagery out there, and it's not just in Ukraine. Ukraine is in the midst of a war situation. It's happening all over. I can't even just say in the United States. I mean, it's happening all over. There is this savagery, there is this lack of self-control that's happening. I've gone on a huge rant there. I don't know if anyone's listened. I'd love to hear some feedback in regards to that. But I think that's a really important point that I'm making. I'm a genius. I'm the only one that's figured out that there's some lack of self-control issues. I am an absolute genius. So I'm going to wrap things up here. Again, full condolences to the families. Perhaps I should apologise for going on too much of a tangent and taken away from this situation. I don't mean to do that, but full condolences to the victims' families. What an absolute tragedy. What an absolute sick CUNT this culprit is. Oh, we don't the picture here. So I'm going to wrap things up here. If you do like this type of content, if you value the commentary I've provided or such, whatever it is, please do stick around. That's number one. Subscribe, share the videos as you see fit, like, comment. I'm trying to make multiple videos every single day, and I'm going to fail to do that. I'm going to take days off. I'm going to take weeks off, seemingly. There's somewhat of a mental strain in going over these topics. So I got, it's inevitable. I'm going to continue to fail to make multiple videos every single day, but I will be making a lot of videos regardless. So do stick around and take care, guys. Take care. If you do see mental illness in your family, in your loved ones, in those that are close to you, in your partner, in your children, in your parents, take care. Take steps. And those steps may include protecting your children in particular, yourself and your children, especially if weapons are available, if guns are available. But not only that, I just made another video a moment ago about some sick CUNT stabbing to death his sister and nephew and three others that were critically injured. I'm going to wrap things up here. Thanks, guys. Take care.